Hi, Gino here with part 2 of my review of Danny Boyle's movie 127 Hours. In this particular review, I'm going to focus on one element in particular, and that is this idea of always telling people where you go when you go venture outside. Now, I know it's easy in hindsight to critique Aaron Ralston for not telling somebody, but I must say that there is a part of us in all of our lives, at one point or another, where we go through this rebellious phase. Maybe not all of us, but a part of us. I did. Where we go through this rebellious phase where we want to do it all alone. And we're not going to, and part of doing it all alone is not telling somebody where you're going because you don't want to be judged for it, and you just figure out that you can do it all by yourself. So at that level, I can understand it. I've been there, I've done it. And in some cases, we are fortunate enough to learn the lesson while somebody else is present with us. Let me give you an example. I was cross-country skiing in Lake Tahoe a few years ago. I shouldn't say a few years ago, about 5 years ago. And I was with a friend, cross-country skiing, and it was the middle of the afternoon. It was really hot, really sweating, having a good time. And then all of a sudden, the sun went down on the back end of the mountain. And the temperature dropped like that really quickly. I had all this moisture on me, and within a short period of time, I started to receive hypothermia. I started to experience hypothermia. And your body starts shutting down, and it was hard for me to move. And fortunately, I was with somebody. She was out in front of me, and I asked her to come back and help me. And eventually, she ended up ushering me back to base camp. But if I was out there alone and didn't tell somebody, that's when I realized, it was at that moment on the ride home that I realized, I was thinking to myself, I was like, if those two elements weren't present, if I didn't tell somebody I was going cross-country skiing, or if I wasn't with somebody, I would have been in real trouble. And so the risk of going out alone is much greater than the risk of going out with two people, because you're only one hypothermia moment away, you're only one twisted ankle away, you're only one falling into a hole and can't be seen or heard away from your own life in meeting the Maker. So when you go out, here's the thing. If you're over that rebellious stage, one of the things you can do to improve your odds immensely for not meeting the Maker, and if you want to continue to venture out solo, is do this. It's the who, what, when, where, and why letter that you leave with somebody that cares for you. That's somebody that would care that you're missing. Okay? Who's going? If it's just you, it's just you. Let them know. And you write this all down on a piece of paper. When are you going? The time you leave and the time you are expected back. Where you are going. Leave a map of where you're going. Leave a map of potential places that you might explore on the map. What are you doing? In terms of, be specific in terms of the actual activities that you're doing. Do you have your mountain bike? Are you climbing? Are you just exploring? Are you looking for hot springs? Are you hiking? Be specific about what you plan on doing, okay? And then the other thing is that the most important part of this is you got to stick to your plan somewhat, okay? Because you're letting somebody know that you are expected to return at a certain time. And on that form, you leave the names and numbers, phone numbers of the sheriffs of the counties that you're going to visit. My particular area of exploration is northern Nevada. It's huge, it's wide open. If I told somebody I'm just going out and exploring, search and rescue would never find me. But if I leave a map of where I'm going, what it does is that reduces the scope of the search, and the likelihood of me being found within 72 hours increases tremendously. Okay? Very simple lesson. It's not a sign of weakness, it's a sign of being smart. I originally thought it was a sign of weakness. That was when I was in my 20s. Hopefully I've learned a few things. But a simple note can do you a lot of good. And leave it with somebody, obviously, who cares for you enough so that if you are missing or don't return, that they actually will follow up on it. That's a small part of the equation, too. All right, thank you, everybody. And remember, Even if you're not going out in the wild backcountry and going for a simple mountain biking ride or a hiking trip, if you're doing it alone, let somebody know that you're going out there. All right, thank you, everybody.